guys and welcome back to another FPL video. My name is MBEUMO and today I've got my Game Week 6 team selection for you guys. It is the big one. I've been saving a lot of my transfers for this game week to attack those really nice fixtures for players that I don't have in my team. But before I get into that, let's have a look how the team did in Game Week 5. And it was a green arrow. It was a very nice green arrow of about 800,000, I was going to say 8 million there, 800,000 places, a score of 69, which gives me a nice green arrow there. I think my safety score, basically the score dictating whether I go up or down, was about 62. So I've basically gained 7 points-ish on the herd, which is really nice. It was a much bigger green arrow than this before the Sunday fixtures, before Haaland played, before the Brighton players played, before Gabriel and all those Arsenal players played. I was about 1.5 million. So yeah, those players returning did impact the rank quite a bit. But just quickly running through the team, Areola on a 1-pointer. I will hold my hands up. Having Areola has been a huge mistake. I don't really know what I was thinking in terms of picking it. Well, I know what I was thinking. I was thinking of a 4.5 million goalkeeper that I'm going to keep for the season in Game Week 3 that had, who I thought the best defence was. To be honest, I really should have just looked at the fixtures. Goalkeepers like Sanchez have done incredibly well and were well within my reach. I could have just picked him on the wildcard in Game Week 3. And Areola is just frequently playing my own attackers and it's just not working out for me. So yeah, it's not really been very useful to have him in the team, and yeah, he scored really low. And even Henderson, who now everyone who had, who I wildcarded out, has finally returned. So yeah, it's just been a bit of a negative there on the goalkeeper, but we are going to fix that next game week. Trent finally getting a return. It was a week of the finalies, to be honest. Trent finally getting a attacking return, an 11-pointer, the score that we all knew was coming. And to be honest, he really wasn't very creative in the game against Bournemouth. He really set up one main chance and it was returned. So he got quite lucky in that point, but he's been unlucky in all the other games. So I think we'll absolutely take that 11-pointer there. Robertson giving me 6 points as well. Again, true consistency from Robertson. 4 clean sheets in 5 games. He's got 6 points every time, but that does indicate to me that he doesn't really have much else to offer. No bonus and no attacking returns for Robertson. So he is definitely on the chopping block for me as we run into the next game week team. Robinson getting 2 pointers. Wolves. Fulham are coming to the end of their good fixtures, and yeah, I was hopeful for a clean sheet from Robinson there, but yeah, it just wasn't to be. And he doesn't seem to be getting as many attacking returns as well. Shouldn't really be expecting one every week, but yeah, not great overall. Captaincy on Salah, I did say how doubtful I was on the Salah captaincy, but to be fair, it was between him and Watkins and they got the same score anyway, so it didn't really matter too much. Got an assist, didn't really... I mean, he looked pretty good in the game, to be honest. He looked pretty good, and he should have hauled, really. So this is the third time, I think, that I've captained a player that's got quite a low score and should have done a lot more. Salah last week did pretty poorly, and yeah, that was fair enough. But yeah, Palmer and Isak have all should have got a lot more returns than they did, and just quite frankly haven't in the game weeks that I've captained them. So yeah, 6 points was quite disappointing there. One more goal would have done a world of good for my team. Despite the fact Salah was so highly captained, it would have catapulted my rank quite a bit. Palmer getting a goal, really nice. Should have had way more than just one goal, to be honest, in that game. Really happy with his performance. Again, quite a consistent asset in terms of getting those returns. Speaking of consistency, Saka again getting a return. Only a 4-pointer though. He was hooked at half-time due to the red card. A lot of people saying that might have been because of an injury. I really don't think it was. Arsenal were leading by 1 goal, and if any attacker was going to make way, it was going to be Saka. Havertz could play in midfield. Trossard obviously went off the pitch, and Martinelli is far more useful for counters. We've seen Martinelli score quite frequently at the end of games on a counter-attack, so I think it was quite logical that Saka was going to come off. I know that people are used to him playing like a left wing-back role, but that's not what Arsenal needed in that moment. They needed a counter-attacking forward, which Martinelli was a better fit for. So yeah, I just think that's why Saka was subbed. A bit of a shame, but he at least got something and didn't blank despite getting subbed off early. Just unlucky. You can't really predict these kind of red cards to happen, can you? Rodgers, finally, again, another finally, got his returns. 2 assists and getting full bonus points. A bit of a wild ride for him as he got an assist and then a yellow card, only on 4 points. He then got an assist right at the end of the game, managed to get onto 2 bonus, and then it got corrected to get an extra bonus 24 hours after the game, which is a new thing that FPL have added, and I'm not too sure how I feel about it. As long as they're getting the correct decisions, I think I'm all for these late bonus point changes. But it does make me worry, have they got it wrong in the past? And that's why this is now different, is to correct previous mistakes that we don't even know about. And it is one of those things where if you're on the right side of it, it feels amazing. If you're on the wrong side of it, it feels terrible. I'm sure you, if you only own Smith Rowe from those bonus point changes, it must have felt pretty crap just having 1 less point and not really much explanation as to why. But yeah, really happy with that Rodgers 10-pointer. Very glad I kept the patience with him. And obviously, I'm going to be keeping him around for that really nice fixture against Ipswich. MBEUMO getting another 8-pointer. Been a lovely differential for me. Scoring 3 goals in 3 game weeks that I've had him. Really, really nice getting those points for me. He will now no longer be a differential, but really happy that I got him for those points. I think he got me a total of 24 points over 3 game weeks, which is very consistent and very nicely done for him. Getting a goal in the first minute of the game, I think it was. Absolutely spectacular goal, by the way. If you haven't seen MBEUMO's goal against Spurs, it was at the very start of the game. Please go and watch it. Absolutely spectacular volley in the box. Watkins getting a goal as well. Again, quite consistent, getting 6 points. No bonus points, which again is quite surprising for a forward getting a goal. But yeah, I think he missed a lot of chances or something like that. But yeah, happy to keep him in the team. João Pedro was unfortunately a fail. I did really think he would start. I know he was just back from injury, but after going goalless against Ipswich, I really did think he would start this one, and it wasn't to be. He came off the bench and looked very close to scoring, but he looks like he might actually be an injury concern as well. I am considering moving him on as the fixtures aren't brilliant for Brighton. They're not bad, but I do think there are better forwards out there for the fixtures in the short term. But João Pedro, I think, is a fine hold as well. It offers a lot of value at his price point. And yeah, Muniz, really funny. Finally bench Muniz because I know he's not going to play. And he gets a return from the luckiest return I've ever seen. He got an assist for essentially the ball being kicked across the box and it bounced slightly off his arse. That was it. And he gets the assist for that. So yeah, if that doesn't sum up my season so far, I don't know what does. But yeah, it was a really, really needed green arrow to get me up quite a few places after the horrific red arrow from last game week. And yeah, we're just going to consistently try and get those green arrows from this point on. Moving on to the Game Week 6 team. So I've had 4 free transfers banked up and I have already used 3 of them. I used them on the Sunday before all the price rises because they are players that I knew I wanted, and essentially I'm taking the risk that they will be fine. Although, as you can see, the player at the top of the screen there, David Raya, is potentially an injury doubt at the time of recording this on Tuesday. He was seen with a plaster around his leg and limping after the Man City game, and I do believe, I think there's reports that he'll be rested in the midweek game. So hopefully he's back for the weekend. We'll probably get confirmation of that. I mean, it is a goalkeeper at the end of the day, so it's not really massively tactically different, I would assume, in terms of information. But yeah, hopefully he's going to be fit, and he's probably going to be my keeper for the season. Unless I desperately need another million and there's a good 4.5 alternative, I am very happy to spend that extra 1 million to get Raya in, as he's been so consistently good, and Arsenal's fixtures are looking great for the short term. For those next 3 games, I really would like him in. Maybe he'll be capped at 6 points. Maybe there's a 4.5 that will do better than him over that period. But this is a long-term play that I'm thinking, and I am just a bit fed up with Areola, as he was playing one of my attackers yet again this game week. The second move is Gabriel, obviously a simple switch from Robertson. I don't think Robertson's a bad pick at all, and to be honest, it is a little bit of a luxury transfer. But Gabriel's looking amazing, honestly. His proficiency on set pieces just seems to be the guy. Has it on absolute lock on a set piece. He scored so many times from corners. Absolutely deadly. Obviously, you know how much I like Ben White in the past, but I just don't think he's an option. He was carrying a little bit of a knock, which is why I didn't start against Man City. But with Timber there and with Calafiori obviously making his starting debut and scoring as well, by the way, what a goal. I just don't think it's worth going Ben White at all. And he's not showing that attacking output because of Timber. Timber's also quite an attacking fullback, so he's not showing, White is not showing that attacking threat that he did last season. Gabriel is just the absolute go-to in terms of a defender. And I think his minutes are pretty safe as well, as Calafiori has been lining up at left-back. I think it will be a four-man competition for those fullback spots, including Zinchenko, whoever mentioned. And then the two centre-backs, I think, will just be Saliba and Gabriel. I don't see why they would rip up that defensive partnership that's been so good. And yeah, like I said, Robertson's just not offering more outside of clean sheets. He's not offering any goal involvements or bonus points, which I really hoped he'd get at some point, but it's just not happening. And yeah, I think it's a simple move, I think, to go to Gabriel to complete that Arsenal triple up. I obviously haven't gone for Havertz. That's mainly because of a team structure thing. I just can't really get in Havertz because obviously I don't have Haaland and I plan to get him in next game week. If I had Havertz, I would just be moving Havertz to get him. So it doesn't make much sense to get him in at this stage. So I'm going with the double defence. And to afford both of those moves, to afford Raya, I have cut Muniz from the team and I've just downgraded him to Stewart, as you can see there on the bench, which does leave me incredibly exposed on the bench. But this is a short-term thing because I'll get in Haaland next game week, use 2 transfers to do that. And then after that, I will probably just get in another 4.5 defender. So I am quite limited on the bench right now, but it is very short term. It's not going to be weeks and weeks that I'm going to have a bench that's this thin, or at least I hope so. And yeah, as you can see, you're probably quite surprised and you're thinking about it for a while, and I will address it. I currently have the captaincy on MBEUMO. Now, the reason for this, I mean, obviously, if you've got Haaland, I think you just captain him. I think it's just quite safe to do so, right? I think Salah might be a better captaincy shout than Haaland, but yeah, I think you just go for the inevitability of Haaland, really. You just know he's pretty much, his floor is 9 points at the moment. He will score a goal in that game. I'm fully accepting that. The reason I've got the armband on MBEUMO is I run a weekly thread, which I haven't done this season yet because we haven't had enough data for it, called the goals conceded thread, where I've basically devised data through the season and given every single team's goals conceded, where they were conceded on the pitch and by what positions. West Ham have currently conceded, just after 5 games, 7 goals from strikers. Now, MBEUMO might not play as a striker. It might be Sade in the middle. But if they happen to play a back 5 or just a front 2, MBEUMO will be one of the strikers. And I think there is a huge potential for MBEUMO to get a return or heavy returns against West Ham just because of the defensive frailties against strikers that West Ham seem to have. I predicted it last week with Jackson, who got an absolute haul against West Ham. So the home fixture, I think, is really good for MBEUMO. It is a little bit of a risk, though, because I'm saying that because, I'm saying MBEUMO is a good captaincy pick, but I'm not saying he's definitively the best. To be honest, I'm between 7 different captaincy picks. Gabriel and Trent, I would like as captaincy picks. I'm not massively against it. Don't think I'll captain a defender, though, when the attackers look this good. Palmer, home to Brighton, is a great fixture as well. But again, I don't think it's a massively standout one, so I don't think I'll go for him. Watkins against Ipswich is really, really nice. The lack of penalties does prevent me a little bit going for the captaincy. I just like that reassurance with my player. And obviously, you get slightly less points as a striker for goals. So if I'm hopeful of goals from a lot of my attackers, I will prioritise the midfielders. So it really comes to those midfield 3 of MBEUMO, Saka and Salah. Now, I will post my... I've posted a little bit over my Twitter about trends, goal-scoring trends there's been so far this season. Salah ranks pretty highly this week. Wolves have conceded, I believe, 4 goals from right wingers this season. Obviously, that's mainly because of a hat-trick from Madueke on the right. And Aït-Nouri does normally have quite a good game against Salah, but I think this is a really great fixture on paper for Salah. And obviously we can't forget about Saka, who's got a brilliant game. Leicester at home, who seem to concede for fun. They seem to score for fun as well, to be fair, Leicester, but they are conceding a lot of goals. So despite Saka not even having the vice, I'm heavily considering him as well. So it is probably between those three for me, Salah, Saka and MBEUMO. It is currently on MBEUMO as a bit of a fun play there. But yeah, it's really nice to have 4 free transfers and make all of the moves that I have made. I am considering one more move. We will wait to see what João Pedro news is. If João Pedro is out injured, I'm going to go for Chris Wood. That is basically my decision that I'm going to make. There's not really any other... he's my favourite forward out of that price point. Vardy and Calvert-Lewin I see are quite popular picks. Calvert-Lewin I really get. The fixtures are looking quite good despite Everton playing pretty terribly. They are scoring and creating a lot of chances. So I do get Calvert-Lewin a lot. Vardy, I'm just not 100% on. I just think his place in the team is not going to be nailed for much longer. I know he's getting regular 90 minutes so far, but that's because they haven't had any other option really up front. Last season, Daka was in the squad and Vardy kind of just shared minutes with Daka, and now Edouard's available. I think Edouard will continue to eat into Vardy's minutes. I don't think he'll be getting anywhere near full 90s regularly. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with midweek fixtures. But yeah, I'm not too keen on Vardy as a pick personally. Again, if you think he's a fun pick, I will not put you off him. But for me, I'm just not going to go there. I like the reliability of Chris Wood, and we've now learned he takes penalties, which is another extra consideration to take into account. But yeah, apart from the glaring fact I don't own Haaland this week, this will be the final week I don't own Haaland. I really like looking on my team this game week. I think I can get a green arrow with how great this team looks. Fingers crossed that Arsenal get a clean sheet, because I'm really relying on that, using basically 3 of my transfers to get in the double defence. But they're going to sit there for maybe the whole season. I don't know how long they'll sit there for, because Gabriel's pretty... he's just scored against Man City. He's pretty unbenchable. And he scored against Spurs as well. So, yeah, really liking the look of the team this game week. Moving on to the mini league team of the game week, we have got a name and a team name that I'm not going to even try and pronounce, is so long. But this guy, I believe, is in the top 200 in the world right now. So fair play to you if you are watching this video. And what an amazing start you've had to the season, honestly. He has only made 4 transfers. He made 2 transfers this game week. And he got in the 2 Chelsea boys. He got in Sanchez and he got in Jackson. He took out Havertz. Obviously, it was a tough fixture this game week, but I mean, what a move to be plus 14 going Havertz to Jackson there. Absolutely amazing. Just a crazy performance here. 108 points. Sanchez with the absolute haul with a clean sheet, and I believe he got bonus. Trent with his haul. Luis Diaz is the captain. Amazing. Doesn't even have Salah in the team, but Diaz has absolutely covered for him. Keeping Rodgers for his haul. Smith Rowe getting a nice chunk of points as well. Watkins getting a return. Saka getting a return. Jackson obviously saying he got a massive haul. 16 points, 2 goals and an assist. And also owning Haaland, who he didn't even vice this game week. So fair play to Chukwuma, I hope I'm saying that right, for this absolutely amazing team and a super high game week score. And just going to quickly run through the leaderboard. Again, it's not really changed too much. I think there was one more team. Yeah, Jack Springer there with My Sloppy Fleckens becomes only the 2nd manager to have 2 top 20 finishes. So there's one more gold medal, as you can see there, Chukwuma. And then, gold, silver and bronze medals being added on there. So there's not been much shake-up. There's none of the top... nobody has earned a medal, and apart from Tia Simono, and also top 20s to shake much up in the rankings. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. Please like and get subscribed to the channel if you are enjoying this kind of content. And yeah, who is your captain this game week? Are you considering someone outside of Haaland and Salah? I really hope some of you are. I hope not everyone's going boring, but to be honest, it's been very reliable so far, so I wouldn't blame you for doing it anyway. You just want to get the most points, right? But I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next FPL video.